So let's go let's go ahead and mash these two together to create our windward side, which is where our forest is going to be, and our leeward side, which is where our desert's going to go. And that leeward side is where the rain shadow is, because once that water evaporates on the rain shadow side, it gets dry, right? Well, on the other side, the windward side, where the wind carries moisture, it allows that forest to get the water that it needs. So a rain shadow means that that water evaporates and it leaves it very dry. So let's go ahead and mix and mash our desert and our windward, our forest together. And what we're going to do first is we need a mountain to create the rain shadow. So we'll pick a mountain stamp of our choice. Just type in mountain. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'm just going to stick with the basics here. We're going to create a range, just like going like this. And when I make my range, I'm not going to make a straight line that's going to do this. When you're making a mountain range, it's the same thing when you're doing your rivers or your roads. You don't do this. You don't do a straight line. What you're going to do is, just like your rivers and your paths, you're going to create these S curves or meandering, right? So I'll create just a little bit of meandering where some of them go on one side and one go on the other side, just like this. That's going to give it a more natural look to your range, and it will look a little bit more interesting, right? Then we can go in and kind of paint in our sections here with our lighter green texture right here. There we go. Just make sure I get some grass kind of going up on this side, going up. There we go. That looks good. Okay. So we'll start with our desert. Let's go ahead and bring the scale down just a little bit more. There we go. Just so we can get a little bit more scale correct. There we go. All right. And then we'll go ahead and grab in our mesas right here. And we're going to scale up. This mesa is huge, right? Whenever you're placing whenever you're making a biome or whenever you're placing stamps on a world map, you always want to place your mountain first, because that's going to set the scale for your other stamps. And there is artistic license with this. You know, if you wanted to make it a little closer to scale, the mesa would be quite small in comparison, but visually your players wouldn't be able to see it. So what's important is it's okay to do some artistic license and have the mesa be a little bit exaggerated. And so what I'll do is I'll place kind of a larger mesa right here. Remember that trick that we did? We'll place a couple together, like one over here, one right there. And then let's maybe put a smaller one right here. That looks good. Let's bring the scale down, make it even smaller. One right there. Here. Oh, those are a little too close to each other. Let's bring that a little bit. There we go. This one overlaps. Perfect. Let's move this one over to here. Remember, the trick here is just don't have them be equidistant from each other. That will look far too uniform. You want to make sure that they are not equidistant. And the way that you fix that is just place some of them closer to each other and some of them further away in varying distances so that it gives a bit more believability to it. Okay, let's place one right there. That looks good. That one's kind of close to that one. So let's bring one over to there. And then let's place one more down right here. Let's bring that all away from the mountain. There we go. So right here, there we go. That looks good. Okay. And then we're also going to stick with our orange. Remember, we're going to go with land here. There should be our yellow land. Let's go with yellow desert right here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill in this space. Let's go ahead and use our regular brush. Just going to go ahead and fill in this space with that orange that we want. We can put in our yellows in different colors if we need to, but let's just first get those oranges on the mountain side. There, get my greens on this side, my oranges on this side. There we go. All right, that looks good. Okay. And just like before, we're also going to throw down some cliffs. And just like you had cliffs on the mesas, don't be afraid to put those same cliffs and line them up with the mountains as well. So for instance, I can go ahead and place that cliff just right there, line the line work up against each other. I can move this over a little bit. Same thing here, move this over to here. Let's go throw in another cliff. In fact, what we could do is scale these down just a little bit. They're probably just a little too big. There we go, that looks good. We'll go ahead and put that one there, that one there. Same thing, we'll try to add some right here. Let's go ahead and bring the scale up a little bit so it'll fit. We'll go ahead and move this over to here. There we go. That looks better. And then because you have cliffs on the mountainside to create those ravines, And those cliffs will also put some cliffs lined up with these as well. So like we can put a cliff there like that. And then we'll put another cliff that kind of lines up with this one right here going the other way, like this. There we go. In fact, I'll kind of move this a little bit. Let's put that right there. That might look a little better. That looks better. Put that one right there. There we go. That looks good. Let's keep throwing in more of those cliffs to create that diversity. One there. That looks better. Let's put another one in. One like this. That looks good. And then remember those islands that we made. Let's make those as well. That looks good. Bring the scale down. Kind of place that right there. We can even place a stamp just right on top of that one. Just like that. There we go. That looks good. Let's move this one a little bit more this way. Cool. A little equidistant. Let's move this a little bit further away. There we go. That looks better. See, deserts are a little bit more challenging, right? You have to be very intentional about where you place your stamps. So it's kind of important. Okay, I think overall that looks good. Let's go ahead and do our changes in our depth. Take that same orange texture and just kind of bring the brightness down a little bit on it. Oops, my mistake. Here we go. Right here, bring that brightness down, bring that opacity down. And we'll go ahead and paint where those deeper sections are, right here like this. That's going to be a little bit deeper. There we go. Here, all along here. Let's go ahead and create a little bit of depth along here like this. Like that, all along here. There we go. Okay, that creates a little bit of depth there. That's good. Okay, there we go. That looks better. Okay, we got our depth. Let's go ahead and place one around here like that. That looks good. Let's also use that. Let's go ahead and take that texture again, bring that brightness up. Remember that trick? We'll bring the brush size down, bring the opacity up a little bit, and we'll go ahead and paint the top of these mesas with that lighter color. Remember that? That way they show this sense of depth. And then don't be afraid to kind of put a little bit of that lighter texture in some of these open spaces as well. There we go, some open spaces. Put some here. Don't be afraid to paint some of those brighter variations of oranges on the mountains as well. Mountains are higher up, so they're going to be a little bit brighter. This as well. There we go. That looks good. All right. Don't forget about our cracked ground texture that we used. Remember that? So we can go back to that catalog. It's in Parchment World. If you just type in cracked, there should be cracked ground. Again, remember, we're going to change that scale, make sure that it's right. And then we'll go ahead and place that cracked ground just right underneath. So 100% opacity. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and put that cracked ground just wherever you see mesas. You can also put them next to cliffs as well. It's okay if you put them on around cliffs, anywhere around them is fine. Again, remember it's dry, so that cracked ground is going to really convey that dry feeling. Don't forget to also put some of that cracked ground inside the ravine or the lower elevation sections, just to show that even though it's kind of the same dry material, even if it's at a different elevation, put in that cracked ground. We'll also do in that gravel in watercolor cities. There should be a gravel. Let's type in gravel real quick. There it is, gravel. Again, you're gonna have to change that scale. See how big that is. Bring it down. There we go. And I'll just go ahead and place a little bit. Let's bring the opacity down a little bit. There we go. And get some of that gravel kind of dirt here. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and just take a step back and look at it. That looks good. Let's go ahead and place our POI down like we did before. Why don't we have to change the scale here a little bit, which is no problem whatsoever. Let's go ahead and strategically think about where it would work best. There is this nice ravine right here. It creates this height here, so it's a good defensible position. So why don't we place a tower right on top of here like this, and then place that structure right there like that. And just to add a little bit more, we'll put a couple more on each top just to have it more interesting. Like maybe there'll be one right there. Oopsie, let's go up a layer. There we go. Let's go ahead and put another one on top of, let's go with this one on top of here like this. There we go. And then this will kind of convey that there is a orc civilization that kind of, or whatever civilization that's going along where this might have been an ancient dried up riverbed right here. And so it's kind of a good location for settlements to be there. So we'll go ahead and add that. All right, let's go ahead and take a step back, let it auto save, and then we'll go ahead and do that part 2, that windward side. We might want to add a light source as well. Let's go ahead and throw in a light. In fact, I can just go right up here and just kind of sneak and steal this one right here, copy, paste. Make sure it's up a layer so it interacts with it. And then we'll go ahead and place one just right over here. Let's actually bring the opacity down a little bit. And we'll place them right where the mountains are, copy, paste, because that's where they're going to hit the most exposure to light. So we'll copy and paste and put some light sources just right along the mountains, just like that. There we go. Let's put in another one, maybe like right here like that. There we go. Okay, so that kind of carries it out a little bit more. That looks good. All right, let's go ahead and make that windward side that forest. And just like we did before, we put down our cliffs. Remember, the objective is to do elevation changes first. Cliffs are a great way to show that. So now we'll go ahead and throw down some cliffs. Oopsie, I think this is set to a lower opacity. Oh, it's set to overlay. Go back to normal. There we go. That looks better. Overlay, normal. Okay, let's go ahead and place another one right there. Let's place one right here. Bring the scale down. One right here like this. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and place another one right here like that. That looks good. Let me just take a step back. Okay. And then we'll also throw down some hills. If you're not certain what else to put along your mountain ranges, hills work great. So let's go ahead and throw in some hills. All right. Let's go ahead and use the ones that have a clipping mask on it. And I'm just going to place some hills just along each other. And just like before, group some of them together, put them next to each other, have some of them be separate from each other. You can even really push them. Oopsie, let's make sure that I got the right. What's 3? This is set to 4. Let's go ahead and fix that. We'll set these to 3. There we go. Go ahead and delete these real quick. What's really nice is to kind of place them right at the base of your mountains, just like this, right? Right there, quite a bit. Just boom, put them right in there. Right here too, all along here and here, not where your cliff areas are at, right? And then just go ahead and kind of place these hills together like this. And now you have this nice terrain that equals multiple kind of layers to it. That'll be helpful. We want to maybe show some elevation changes. So why don't we make this part right here a little bit darker just to show that elevation change. So I'll bring that brightness down and I'll just go ahead and paint in right here, just like this, that darker variation. There we go. So some of that darker variation there. Okay, just to show that. Now, once you've put all that together, then you can start putting down your trees. And again, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing this. It's perfectly okay just to use all the same tree. Just make sure you change them up. What I like to do, me personally, what I like to do, oopsie, this is supposed to be a mangrove, my mistake. Let me fix that real quick. Here we go. There's our water. Here we go. Put our mangrove. How silly of me. Forgot to add in my mangrove. There we go. That looks better. Bring in our darker texture just to make it look a little bit deeper. There we go. Silly me. Getting ahead of myself there. There we go. Okay, the mangrove. We got that water there. Perfect. And I really like that there is a little bit of water right here because I find that contrast, like water versus land, is really, really nice. So now we'll go over and we will take our trees, just like we had over here. We're gonna have to do a little bit of different scaling. Remember, when it comes to scale with trees, You don't have to make it perfectly to scale. What you can do is you can make them a little bit bigger or smaller, just depending on whether or not you want your players to see it, the style that you want. That's up to you. And what I'll do is I'm going to create some transition. I'm going to have my mangrove trees over here, and then I'll have some more pine or coniferous trees over here, and then I'll throw in my deciduous trees right here. So we can get a little bit of both, where all three of the different types of forests, So we'll start first with our coniferous trees, which we'll just go ahead and place just right here at the base in a mountain like this. That looks good. Fit them right in here just like that. And what I find also very, very helpful is it's okay to have some of them going up on the side of the mountain. Just go up a layer like this, and then have them literally climbing up those mountain areas where you can create what's called like an alpine region. It's always nice to have just a couple just climbing up the mountain a little bit, as you would kind of expect. And also place them on top of your hills as well, right? They're not just going to be in front of and behind, they're also going to be on top of those hills. So just make sure that you kind of do some of that like this. That looks good. Some here on top of that one. Let's put a little bit, one here, put a couple over here. That looks good in front of this cliff here. There we go. That looks good. And then we'll go ahead and move to that next part, which we'll go ahead and choose our next tree. Carnivorous trees. They're going to get you. And then we'll go ahead and create a more denser kind of forests in here like this. There we go. Just kind of create this forest. Just create these kind of blobs, and then you can just create individual trees in those open spaces. And then we'll move over to our last step, which is adding in that mangrove part. There we go. And then we have these mangrove trees right here. We'll place them along the edge here, and then some along the water. And in fact, what I'll end up doing here, so I don't have to do that same thing, I'll go over here and grab some of these trees right here like this that already have those shadows for me. Perfect. Copy and paste them. They're going to have to change the scale, obviously. So I'll bring that scale down. There we go. That looks good. And I'll just rearrange these where I want them. That looks good. I'm going to leave them in the shallow sections. I don't want them to be out here, right? So I'll go ahead and place a couple in here, a couple right here. That looks good. All right, and then we'll do a couple more things just like we did before. We'll throw in that lighter ground texture in between those negative spaces with our dirt texture. Let's bring the opacity up a little bit. And in those negative spaces, we'll just kind of fill in a little bit of this dry kind of dirt in those negative spaces. Like this. That looks good. Remember, openings, clearings, these things are going to create more contrast, making them more visually pleasing. Okay, paint a little bit here, a little bit like that. That was good. And then we'll point in that last one, which should be our grass patches. We'll make sure to change that scale up. And then it's okay if you put the grass patches a little bit in the dirt, but let's just place them right underneath where our trees are at, just like we did before. There we go. Looks good. All right, just there we go, just to kind of carry us over. Okay, yeah, a little bit of grass in there. And because we've kind of established where our light source is, we can go ahead and put a light over on this side over here, like this. And there's a couple things that you can do. If you want to show the shadow of the mountains, you can. We're going to select all of the mountains, select all from the set right here like this. I'm going to go to the shadow, which should be right here, shadow, custom object shadow. We're going to go ahead and make some adjustments to this real quick. We're going to go ahead and move the horizontal offset like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this illusion of the shadow of the mountain by simply changing the horizontal offset so that it faces this way. Now, you can change the texture, the color to be a darker green color since it is a forest. You could add a darker green. and that would work just fine, or it can go into the further into the black. That's up to you. But a little bit of shadow can really help. Remember, that trick is contrast, can help him to pop out. So by adding a little bit of shadow there, now you have that popping out.